What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. Zack, Mwekassa, the Black Warrior. Today we're talking about North Korea. Yes, North Korea. Very interesting. I want to know what you think about this. Very interesting subject. We live in a very interesting world where people choose what they want. They also think they can choose for you how you should be. So let's get at it right away. North Korea confirmed on Tuesday that it will launch a military spy satellite on June to address dangerous military action by the United States, with Japan suspecting a disguised missile launch. The number one military reconnaissance satellite will be launched in June in order to deal with dangerous military action of the United States, its vassal, announced Pong Choi, the vice chairman of Central Military Commission of Workers. You know what a vassal is? Back in time, many hundred years ago, vassals were like people that served the chief, they served the king, they served the boss. So a boss will go and rule over places, rule over villages, and assign its vassals in each village. So the vassal will collect the tax, the money, the food for the king or for the chief or for the lord. So North Korea says they need to launch surveillance satellites to keep on track or keep in check the United States and its vassals. And obviously by saying vassals, they're talking about South Korea and Japan. Japan announced on Monday that it had been informed by North Korea of an incoming satellite launch, a project which the Japanese government said would conceal a ballistic missile launch. So, Japan has announced that North Korea told them that they're going to be launching this missile. So, basically, internationally, when a country wants to do military actions, military training, missiles launch, they will usually speak to each other, speak to the neighbor, say, hey dude, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing some training, some missile launch or whatever. Just be aware of it, don't panic. North Korea still had the decency to tell Japan that we're going to be launching a satellite. I mean, taking into account the very broken relationship that they have. First of all, we all know the countries that have satellites and stuff, they can espionage, they can look into your country and see what you're doing with no remorse. Why is it bad when North Korea try to do the same to protect itself? And the reason they're finding here, they say North Korea is trying to use this satellite story to conceal a ballistic missile launch. I mean, let's just get back to track. How many times has North Korea launched ballistic missiles? Numerous times, right? Why do they need to conceal it this time around? I don't see the reason why they want to do it. What's the history of North Korea? North Korea, for those of us who don't know, Korea used to be one country. I mean, it was the same people, neighbors and families living together, the North and the South. They were just same people until the Second World War. But during that time, they were colonized by Japanese. Japanese did some atrocious things. They did killings, destroying, they took lives like never before. But then after the Second World War, the northern part of Korea, which is North Korea, was assigned to Soviet. The communists were ruling over it, and the southern parts were the West. So with time, the northern part became more and more like a communist country, kept the mentality, the modus operandi was very similar to communist countries, and the southern part became more like Western nations. And with time, obviously, they separated. They divided a country that was filled with brothers and cousins and people, families and clans were separated because the South was ruled by the West and the North by the communists, which is very sad for a beautiful country like that. And with time, they became the worst enemies ever. And unfortunately, North Korea decided to keep its culture, its tradition, its way of life. And that's possibly the main reason why they're not liked by anybody. I don't know, have you noticed that many countries don't have North Korea embassy in the countries? Have you noticed that? Why do you think that is the case? Because obviously, the strongest people in the world, you know who they are. When they don't like some people, they will impose themselves and tell you, you cannot like these people. You cannot cooperate with them. You cannot do business with them. If you do business with them, we're going to sanction you. That's how it goes, right? I mean, look at the case of Zimbabwe. After they chased away all the white fellas that were occupying the land, that were manipulating the land, making money in Zimbabwe, pretending to be Zimbabweans. But at the end, whatever gain they have, whatever money they made was sent to Britain. I mean, you are in Zimbabwe, you pretend to be Zimbabwean, you're originally from Europe, you're making money in farming, you're making money in many businesses, but as soon as you get the money, you don't invest the money in Zimbabwe. You invest money in London. Are you really Zimbabwean? And that was one of the main reasons why President Mugabe decided to keep them out and give the land to our brothers from Zimbabwe. And unfortunately, many of them did not do a great job because they were not prepared. You know, when they give you good things, you must be ready for them, I believe. You must be trained for it. So, because the United States and other Western nations condemned Zimbabwe for that, because they decided to sanction Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe had no more right to deal with any other country, to make money, to do commerce, to do exchange of goods. That's the reason why Zimbabwe is going through a very difficult time up until now. They say the sanction was against the President Mugabe at the time because he was a terrorist, because he supposedly was a dictator. He did wrong things. But guess what, fellas? President Mugabe has died a long time ago. Zimbabwe is still under sanction. Why is that? So this is basically to show you when you don't do things the way they like you to do them, then you're the enemy. I mean, look at Cuba. People don't deal with Cuba because Cuba with the United States don't get along. So if the US don't get along with any country, nobody can get along with them. I mean, look at Venezuela. Okay, not many countries can deal with Venezuela because they're going to be sanctioned, apart from Russia and China, because they're very strong as well. They're not scared. Look at Syria. Look at North Korea. It's the same music, the same thing. Every country that not obey by the law, by the rules of the West, will be sanctioned, and every other country will try to do business with them, deal with them, will be sanctioned too. So that's the case of North Korea. Now, why do people hate North Korea? The truth is North Korea has kept its tradition. They have kept their culture. They are very North Korean. They try not to get involved with any other external force or entity or mentality. They kept the way of life. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Who are we to judge? It's their life. I mean, did you choose to be born in America? You didn't. Did you choose to be born in Africa, Nigeria, wherever? You didn't. You were just born in Nigeria. Did they choose to be born in North Korea? No, they didn't. The bottom line is many things that we find funny in other places are just normal to them. So it's not for you to go and say, oh, this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. If they've done this for centuries and for many, many years and be okay with it, who are you to go and change them? So let's get back to North Korea and see what's happening in North Korea. First of all, South Korea, just to show you the contrast between North Korea and South Korea. South Korea today is very advanced technological country. It's also the country that has the most plastic surgeries in the world. I know many people think the United States has the most plastic surgeries in the world, but that's not the case. The truth is South Korea is the first country with the most plastic surgery in the world. Yeah, unfortunately, in order for that to sell, somebody has to tell you that you're ugly. Yeah, you don't look good. Your nose is not nice. You need to change it. Your mouth is not big enough or whatever, not pink enough. You need to do something about it. In the meantime, they're going to sell you all this fear, these insecurities, and you're going to buy into the product. That's the same thing they've done to many black people, black Africans, yes. The black community pays around $4 billion a year for just hair extension. That's a lot of money. $4 billion? How come that money doesn't come back into the community? I mean, if that money even went to black commerciants, to black business people, I would have said, yes, congratulations. But the $4 billion a year that black people spend on hair, extension hair, and all that stuff, go to the Chinese, to the Asians, to the Europeans. It's very, very sad. We are unable to come together to build things together, to just grow one another. And it's very sad because, I mean, I have nothing against people putting, extension hair and all that stuff. But what breaks my heart is a lot of black people hate themselves. A lot of our sisters don't love themselves. I mean, if you cannot get out with your own hair, like, how can you pretend loving somebody else if you hate your own hair? Doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, that's not the subject today. I know you're already feeling some kind of way. Anyway, so what we're trying to say here, North Korea does not absorb any foreign content. We're going to get into what's not acceptable in North Korea very quickly. North Korea does not read any foreign content. So they don't read the Bible. They don't want your Quran. They want nothing of that. They kept their own mentality, their own way. Who are we to judge? Part of their culture. In North Korea, you cannot wear jeans or bikinis. It's prohibited. African people started wearing bikini many, many years later because they were trying to copy the West. It's not part of the culture. So in North Korea, they don't like it. In North Korea, you cannot do international calls. I know it sounds busy and crazy and unacceptable. No international calls? That's not... Just remember, guys, for those of you who've been here for a long time, I mean, those adults that are 30 and above, not everybody could do international calls. There was no international calls. It was limited to specific people in society. Do you remember that? You couldn't make international calls, like really, really, really. Especially in African countries. I know in the US, probably it was very expensive, but it came later in African countries that you were able to make an international calls. I still remember when we got cell phones and stuff. It was a big deal. Like, you got a cell phone? Wow. Cell phones were limited to people in high society level. Government personnel. Those were rich people. Those were the people that had cell phones and stuff. I still remember one occasion, I had a cell phone for the first time. That was my mom that got a cell phone. And I called a friend of mine on the phone. Like, hey, what's up? How are you doing? I just wanted to show him that I was, on track too. And I heard his mom on the other side of the phone saying, oh, is that your friend? Oh, he's got a cell phone. I was hurt. That's hurt my feelings so bad. Like what? Are these things only made for you people, rich people? How about us? I still remember that very clearly. It wasn't a big issue at the time. We didn't have international calls. We lived. We didn't die. So I don't see why you would say, oh, North Koreans are suffering because they don't have international calls. I'm sure they're doing other things. I'm sure they can interact with one another. They can talk to each other. Those are ability we've lost today. We sit together, but everybody's busy on the phone. Yeah, everybody's busy on his phone. The people right in front of you, you don't look at them. You're busy trying to talk to people that are miles away from you. And when they come next to you, you don't talk to them anymore. You talk to other people that are miles away from you. So as much as technology has come with so many good things, technology has come with the burden of so many negative things that we tend to not even look at. So in North Korea, they don't want that. North Korea, you cannot travel without the permission of the officials. That's a tricky one. You can't go to different spots without them knowing exactly where you're going. If you're born in that setup, that doesn't make any difference. But for us who are born in different setup where you kind of feel free to do things, I think it's very difficult to accept it, to change back into that. In North Korea, they choose your profession for you. Your job, it's chosen for you. Okay, you can't really get upset for that, I believe, because many of us, even in different democratic country, quote unquote, we do jobs that our parents chose for us. They send you to school. You didn't choose to go to school, did you? Do you remember that? It's very easy to judge other people, right? You didn't choose. Many of human beings, if you had to wait for them to have enough intelligence to choose whether they want to go to school or not, many will choose not to go to school and stay home, right? Do you agree? Many would have chosen to stay home and not go to school. We went to school because parents chose that for us. Okay, and I don't think when they choose things for you doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be suffering or you're going to be unhappy. I don't even believe that choosing a lover or a husband and wife for you is necessarily bad. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, many people that were actually set together in those setups are actually very happy together. As much as there are people that are not happy, there are many people that are very happy. They've had successful marriages, successful families. In fact, today, because we have so much choices, we do so much nonsense that we can't even talk about our past because then we're too guilty of our past. We don't like it. It looks too dirty. We made too many bad choices. Exactly. So as much as it sounds restraining, it's not necessarily bad. I don't believe so. So in North Korea, you can't call your child Kim. Kim is a name reserved for them, for the boss, for the president, or whatever you call it. Kim Jong-un. You can't call your child Kim. So, yeah, there are plenty of names you could choose. Not that, unfortunately. In North Korea, they will choose your hairstyle for you. Yes, they will choose your hairstyle for you. They have 28 hairstyles that are acceptable. You can't just go there with blue hair, blue, green hair and all that stuff. And basically, I just feel like, what does the blue and green and yellow hair bring to society? Not great things. It's part of the culture. They don't want that. And that's not limited to North Korea. Even in an African household, bring your boyfriend with blue hair and see if your dad's going to be okay with that. Unless he's got a lot of money. That's if he's got money, he's a soccer player, that's fine. If he's a musician that's okay. An actor, but just a normal dude with blue hair, nobody want that. So North Korea has limited that. In North Korea, a criminal's family will get arrested for his action. Yeah, they will call you in and question you to why is he a criminal. So if somebody goes and takes away his own life, they're going to call the family members and you're probably going to get arrested to understand why he took away his own life. Where were you? Is that bad? I don't know. What do you think? So the bottom line is, let's just remember it. The context is North Korea want to launch its own satellites so it can protect its people from espionage and stuff. And they're not happy about it. Japan is not happy. The US is not happy. Why are they not happy? Why don't they want other people to have the freedom of doing things that they themselves do? I don't understand that. Why are they not happy that North Korea can have a nuclear weapon if North Korea, have never bombed anybody with no nuclear weapon? I mean, just look at it. Which country has ever bombed some other country with nuclear weapon? Oh, okay. So why doesn't that country want other people to have nuclear weapon if they are the only people who have actually bombed other people with nuclear weapon? So you're just going to judge people because you think they're going to use nuclear weapon while you, in fact, have never paid the price of using nuclear weapon on innocent people? I mean, remember Iraq. They went to Iraq because they said Iraq had a bunch of developed mass destruction weapons and nobody saw. And many people had to pay the price of that for doing nothing. Innocent people. Unacceptable. Okay, North Korea want to do its own things. Well, they're not okay with you. They don't want your business. There's no KFC in North Korea. There is no McDonald's in North Korea. There's no Burger King in North Korea. They don't want none of your business. They don't want none of your enterprises. No, you can't go there. You cannot use their people. You cannot change their mentality. You cannot sell them fake hair. You cannot sell them product to change their faces and stuff. You cannot sell them rhinoplastic and all that nonsense. They want to keep it North Korean. Are they wrong to do it? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Yeah, I'm very interested to know what do you think. Can North Korea do its own things? Can they make their own choices without necessarily being badged? Because clearly they haven't bombed anybody. Yeah, if you like this community, come join us. Make it bigger. It's always a pleasure. I'm gonna speak to you again very soon. God bless.